evening to others,
What's next?
afternoon to some, and good night to others. Well, where I'm at, Pittsburgh, PA, it's good morning to you. 2:19 a.m. So the sky reflects it in New York because we under the same time zone. So the time of day I'm playing with corresponds to it reflects my real lifetime. So that's just the way I sort of changed the way I play the game. While I wait for the third one oh so patient, or as I wait for the sequel oh so patiently. The sequel to this one. Which could be a Venom game possibly. Anyway, but without any further ado, Mr. Nightmare 3 Disturbing True Airbnb Horror Stories.
I rent out my South Carolina house on Airbnb whenever I'm not using it. It's a modest 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house by the beach. 2 of the bedrooms are guest rooms, which are accessible to the people renting it. The master bedroom I keep locked with my clothes and certain belongings in there. That room is for me. I have to keep my stuff somewhere instead of walking it back and forth every time I go down there. I have a regular lock and then a deadbolt lock on there, so no one's ever getting in there unless they chop the door down or break through the window. But also, it's not like I keep anything super expensive in there, mainly just clothing. This was early last spring. It was still chilly up in Massachusetts where I lived most of the year. I wanted to take a drive down to the South Carolina house for the week. For the most
Hold on, it's funny because he just mentioned I had to rewind it 10
We're gonna destroy the
seconds
whole
back.
neighborhood.
I just rewinded it 10 seconds back, but he said he went from his Massachusetts house down to South Carolina. And I was just saying about literally like a few seconds before Ayo Edebiri, because she's a fellow Yoruba girl too. Her name is Ayo, just like my Ayo. She's from Massachusetts herself, so it's just funny the alignment and syncing of things that during the witching hours, right? Yeah, Holy Ghost is within me flowing. So bear witness to the Holy Ghost fire down there. That's me manifesting the Holy Spirit's fire through them. Yeah. And also, I have the power of Shango lightning. You want to bear witness to it? To me?
still chilly up in Massachusetts where I lived most of the year. I wanted to take a drive down to the South Carolina.
Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Lightning. Lightning.
Nah, he's doing his own thing right now. Flatter stuff. You know how it is.
Since I was going down right after the current renter was cleaning plans on going down to the police side. Last renter was a guy named More messages. Good restaurants to eat in the area. He seemed trustworthy. I always prefer to rent to couples or smaller groups of women as opposed to groups of young men, because they're usually the ones to come and get shit-faced and potentially damage the place. I started my drive very early in the morning. About a 16-hour drive. By the time I got to the house, it was about 10 o'clock at night. I went to unlock the front door. I rolled over back my car to grab my bags to go inside. I was shocked to arrive. My father checked the place out. I just went straight to my bedroom door to unlock it. I collapsed into the bed without brushing my teeth or anything. For those that haven't done it, 16-hour straight drive.
Incoming symbiosis.
I crawled under the covers. I was out like a baby in the bathroom.
Yep, I would have too.
I think I'd have slept through the night. I woke up in the black room. My bag rest was at 30 a.m. I sleep for a little more than an hour. I grabbed my phone to check for any texts out. I turned on the bedside lamp. I looked around the room. Got up and went out. It took this moment to start analyzing. Didn't notice a single thing.
Oh.
Not a pillow, not a can of beer, nothing.
That's pretty cool.
I went to the bedroom.
Right?
All
I mean, thank you.
the No, the covers on a bed in one of the rooms seemed to have been moved.
Invisible
So
one
yes,
as
they did
well.
come. I thought they may have been the cleanest couple to have ever stayed in my place. I have a camera set up on the front porch.
Don't
of
know
the
where I
house.
went.
I never really think to check it unless a customer is giving me any kind of hard time. But I was curious. I opened the app to the camera system on my phone and went to the movement history. It picked up on a man entering the house within a code lock 3 days earlier. Just a man, though. He had no woman with him. Strange. I checked for any
Odd.
other movement updates, but then until the moment.
That shiny blue.
Santa now installs residential solar in Arizona. Same top quality patents.
I am trying to low-key fight
Now,
something.
start to finish. Go solar with Sandy. Sunshine never looks so good.
I showed up, which had also pulled up. There was nothing. I checked it over like 5 times. I suddenly got the chills. I went to the Airbnb app to message Ramon, asking if he checked out okay, even though it was late at night. I went to check the bedroom where I was
Nothing back! It's above us! Can everyone just relax?
So I was ripping off a band-aid. Each time, I was greeted with an empty closet. I was moved along to the second guest bedroom. The beds here were still untouched. Inside of one of the beds, the stair conversation the master bedroom door clicked shut. Right. A person would have gone on a draft. The living room looked at the master bedroom door. I said, Ramon, still in here? I'm shaking my place. Response. I could see the light was still on in the bottom crack of the door. I got on all fours to look under the crack of the door. I fell backwards. I saw 2 feet standing not far behind the door, maybe a couple feet away. We went to the night holder in the kitchen planning to grab a party bed. It was already taken. At this point, my only logical option was to house the front. That's what I did.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
The police showed up.
Horror stories.
We went inside. Meeting in the living room. Spoken in Portuguese accents, acting all innocent.
Yeah.
Saying he just needed a place to stay one more night. Complete bullshit.
But no.
Every night after picking up the night, after 30 minutes, the police officers outside talking to Ramon. 2 inside talking to me. They actually let him go. Told me I should contact Airbnb and try to work it out with them. I was in shock. I felt like the police didn't do their job. After everyone left, I chased the box code up the door. I contacted Airbnb about what happened. Though I didn't receive payment for the extra day Ramon squatted in my house, it will currently ban him from ever using the app again. It doesn't really feel like proper trespassing. He was potentially waiting to stab me in my own house.
That don't make sense. I hear drones. Hear dronage.
26 years old, still living with my parents.
Okay. No shame in that.
Come on.
In a relationship that I'm not too sure about.
I'm 27 and I match your lifestyle perfectly.
26 years old, still living with my parents. Not content with my job. I'm in a relationship that I'm not too sure about. You say I've been stressed with your monumental understandings. Mom and I were not getting along. Everyone was just bothering me. I wanted to escape. It's a little one-bedroom area. Found one for cheap. Troutdale, a couple hours later. These other pictures.
Not getting up from that.
Right in a peaceful-looking little place surrounded by woods. It was the fall too.
Where at?
Everyone was smiling. I wanted to escape for a weekend. Looked at the little one-bedroom Airbnb. Found one for cheap. It was in Troutdale, Virginia, a couple hours away from us. Based on the pictures, it was this nice, private, and peaceful-looking little place surrounded by woods. It was the fall too, so the foliage was going to be beautiful. I told my parents I was going there for the weekend. My mom seemed
Can't get me now.
that we could leave it.
Can't catch me now. Won't catch me.
My girlfriend was more so just confused, finding it weird and suspicious that I was going away to some random cabin alone for the weekend. When Friday came, I packed a backpack full of clothes, toiletries, and my laptop, and headed out for the road. It was around a 2.5-hour drive door to door. The area of Troutville was very quiet and
They
safe.
killed each
It was
other.
a perfect escape from suburbia back home. I needed a nice weekend just to spend to myself. I was driving up a gravel road when the GPS told me I arrived. I saw an opening in the trees next to the road. The instructions the owner of the Airbnb gave me were to cut through this opening onto the grass and up the little hill. I did exactly this, and there I saw the cute little house sitting at the top of the hill. The second I stepped out of the car, I inhaled the fresh rural air, instantly feeling happy I did this. The owner told me where to find the key to the front door.
I want to smell
I set
Virginia
myself in
ear.
and checked the place out. It was a nice, cozy living room, small kitchen, bathroom, and one locked bedroom that you had to climb a ladder-like stairway to get up into. There was a circular window over the bed. Lots of light got into the house, which was nice. I went out to walk some of the trails the owner told me about, about a 5-minute drive away. On the drive back to the house afterwards, I noticed two guys walking down the gravel road. As my car was passing, they literally stopped in their tracks to turn and look at me as I passed. I waved and smiled, thinking they were friendly locals.
Get away from them!
Back. It was completely awkward. They looked at me as I driving down the road and were looking.
Get rid of those monsters!
The property and I started reading one of the books that was incredibly cozy. The sun was on its way down. After reaching the shadow of my door, I realized I was getting home. I went outside to my car, then driving to the first Walmart. Later, I went to work, got to work.
Monsters later. Come on. More?
Get out of the way!
Get down here and fire!
Get down here.
I drove like 20 minutes to the closest Walmart.
Never again!
Shoot him!
The only light was from my headlights. It was creepy for sure. I pulled up to the hill to the little house. It was not hard to find in the dark. I grabbed my backpack and a grocery bag and went up to the house using my phone's flashlight to see. Once inside, I locked the door immediately. It was creepy out there. I ate real quick and went back to reading my book by the fire. And pretty soon the lights to the room started to cut out. The only light in the entire house was from the fireplace. I tried flipping on anything electric, but the power was gone. I went to message the owner again, who swiftly replied back to check the main breaker of the circuit box outside by the telephone pole near the back of the house. I didn't reply. There was no way in hell I was going out there. I was already paranoid from earlier. Why would the power be randomly cut off anyway? Something was off.
Yeah.
I creaked the floorboard from the darkest corner of the room back down the door. I looked over, saw this tall, looming figure in the doorway of the bathroom. Only by the fireplace. My worst fear had been realized. This was actually happening. A soft yet deeply disturbing voice. I was to remove sound and everything I had. I was so scared I could barely breathe. He said all I had was my laptop and some clothes. He told me my wallet and all my money. I did. He stood in the doorway. I still couldn't see his face. He told me to go into the kitchen and stay there. Minutes later, I heard the door to the house close. I looked into the living room. My laptop, backpack, and money was all gone. I called 911 quietly to report a robbery. 3 minutes later, an officer arrived. He described the two guys I'd seen walking down the street earlier out, assuming it was them working together on this. Simply all the officer could tell me was that he would be on the lookout for anyone matching those descriptions. I messaged the owner to tell him what happened. He was sympathetic at first, or so it seemed. He said I could go home the next day.
Guess we gotta stop by in Chinatown.
My horrible experience. A trip I thought would be a nice detox for a stressful point in my life only made it worse. Luckily, my laptop was only like $400.
Can't have hunters getting resupplied.
You don't have problems
Was
with
still
doing
the
shipping
scariest
work.
experience of my life.
Necessary.
There is a small part of me that believes
Exactly.
We
may
do
have
this
something
now.
to do with it.
It only
I
helps.
still have no idea.
4 boxes. Spider-Man. Don't tell me you're planning on being here long.
Me neither. That is odd. Dubious and odd.
Boxes have anything fun? Like sneakers? Or video games?
With us was my friend Rob. Alexis's car was a Hyundai. Very small vehicle. We didn't pack much. We were headed to this Airbnb in Carroll, New Hampshire. It's a gorgeous ride. Just as depicted in the photos. All laughed it off.
Yep. Little did you know.
I was really into Alexis, and I think she was into me. I found that she said to me, one thing you could observe that towards people inside, and had a turn of the barrier to life. She didn't want to speak there. She wouldn't let me. We both put our things in the living room, pull out the couch like that. I was much happier first. A little later, we all sat in the hot tub in the garage /record.
Oh.
Stephanie and I were always good friends. We carried on with stories and joked about high school, sipping on our potentially illegally acquired booze. Kelly, on the other hand, was changing, not with us. Rod kicked my leg from under the water and winced, seeing how close Alexis was getting to him.
I have the spider in my sight!
We tried to plan out our next step. Washington,
Mount Washington, Pittsburgh?
Hope you took out insurance
It's a question.
on those
Clock
shipments.
struck 2 a.m. and we sat outside. The stargazing here was supposed to be amazing. A bit later, Kelly tagged along with us. What happened next?
Yeah, back to the sea.
In front of the house,
East River.
the deck that we were sitting on. It was pitch black. No cars were around. More or less, we were in the middle of nowhere. No one really understands true silence until you're away from cars or planes for that matter. The sky was brightly lit, purple, blue, full of stars. Kelly hushed me one time. Just a few feet away from the porch, she heard some crunching, as if something was approaching the deck. There was definitely something walking out there. We waved it off as a rapid box until the steps sounded heavy. And I
Not my
looked at
favorite kind of
Alexis.
robots, but that's
Fear
okay.
began to set in as I noticed her gaze was looking towards the old shed where the footsteps had began. Quickly, I ushered the girls into the cabin and locked all the doors. I tried to explain to them that it's still possibly an animal, especially if animals had taken over that old shed. Easily, both of them calmed down.
CVG leggings are sweat-proof. You want to focus on your work and not be distracted by signs of heavy sweat.
Signs of heavy sweating.
Kelly walked back into her room, and I again laid down beside Alexis. The next morning, I woke up to Rob and his girlfriend cooking breakfast in the kitchen, which was just across the room from Alexis and I. We had a big day planned out. We did quite a lot of hiking, with most of us forgetting what had transpired last night, other than Alexis. When we came back from hiking, Alexis suggested exploring the old shed beside the house. Now that it was daylight, nothing that
Okay,
bad could happen.
everybody sit.
I'll be honest.
Stay.
I didn't want to. I didn't let us to take out the woods. The open screen door old rickety rocking chair. It seemed in my frame if I tried to sit with it. The next door had one of those glass door knobs. It was rusted and dented. I looked at Alexis and grabbed the door. She groaned as she opened the door. There wasn't much to the room. The floor was dirt. Dirt, ink, windows, and some trash. Alexis made a point that it smelled of cigarettes. They said that the designated smoking spot was where it would be. Both shrugged it off and lighted like that. Rob was starting the fire. Some
Yeah,
No
I'm definitely more of a
conversation
cat
was
person.
going on. Rob poked fun at Alexis and I. The sun set, and I turned off the floodlight out back to make the ambiance of our fire nicer. Some chuckles and stories are passed around. Rob and I boasting about our feats and whatnot. Then there grows a silence. That same crunching from last night was heard behind us, just against the tree line. Except it was faster and headed in our direction. Just like that, there was a flash of green light lighting up the entirety of the backyard for just a moment. Whatever was running towards us halted, but my thoughts were ruptured by Stephanie's scream as she bolted towards the house. Behind us, a blood-curdling cry with yelp was heard. A deafening sound that at first we thought was a siren. I instantly stood up, yelling for everyone to get inside. Stephanie must have saw whatever it was that made that cry. My
A siren?
accidentally knocked over Kelly, who hadn't gathered the entire scene yet. I turned around to help her up. Rob was already halfway to the house. I ran to help Alexis gather our food items.
Yeah.
The last thing we wanted if it was a bear was them to stay any longer. After that, I rushed Alexis to the back door, where Rob was waiting for us with some kind of bear spray. I already at this point had my Bowie knife out. I commanded him to go in, but he yelled at me to go in because he's got the rage. The two of us saw this black mass walking along the outskirts of our fire. We didn't stay long enough to find out what it was. After meeting the girls in the living room, we called the police immediately. The officer reported to the house and looked all around with his flashlight, finding nothing. He clarified to us that the flash was due to lightning striking a nearby power line or transformer. As for the thing, he said it was likely
What's
a
up?
cat or something.
Number 2, viewer.
Hunched over,
Scary
close to
story.
a blanket hung over him. Needless to say, we didn't stay the next night over. The sheer paranoia of someone or something stalking us in the woods was reason enough. To say the least, we haven't returned to the mountains since. Who knows what's crawling around in those woods?
Who knows? What will happen, I do not know. This is my life, this is my future. Emmanuel, yo me de como la fe.
Guys, I'm addicted to this app. I just built an entire super supplement brand.
Let me pick myself up, y'all. You normal civilians.
It was a rainy night. I was driving home from my shift at the late night diner I work at. It was a quiet shift at work. I had a weird amount of energy still, so I knew I was going to have to pop a melatonin when I got home. I was driving my usual route, a scenic road during the day,
Should look where I was
majorly
going.
dark at night, lacking many light posts. There's the occasional little parking lot with cute little strips of stores or family-owned restaurants and shops, and then just stretches of nothingness. And by nothingness, I mean forest, obviously. I was passing one of the aforementioned parking lots of a well-known deli, and under a light post was a woman standing out in the rain.
Checking me out on me again.
She was waving me down. I slowed as I realized it was a slightly older woman.
Hey, just like with the other Spider-Man for a second.
We do have the same eyes.
I lowered my window and yelled, "Do you need a ride?" She came over to the front door and opened it,
Glad to hear
chanting
it.
how much of a hero I am. I asked where she's heading, and she said
Where's
just
she
up
going?
the road to town.
Okay,
She
up the
was
road to
soaking
town.
wet, getting my car all wet.
All wet.
I like to think of myself as a good person.
Me too.
I couldn't in good conscience leave another woman out there in the cold rain.
Nah, that's wrong.
However, picking up a random man, on the other hand, would be a different story.
Yeah, completely
The woman
different
seemed
topic,
sweet. I
subject.
noticed as I looked at her while talking to her,
Yeah.
she was missing a few teeth.
Oh boy.
Very, very muffled.
Questionable sign there.
I now wonder if she were homeless. She didn't smell or look like a homeless person.
Okay.
The rain soaking her and her clothes could have been masking any sense temporarily. Plus, her hair was so wet that what may have usually been scraggly, undone hair could now have been weighted down and straightened by the water.
Yeah.
Either way, the woman was smiling the whole time. It didn't seem like a threat.
Yeah, right.
To an intersection with a
Right,
gas
yeah.
station on one corner. I pulled in next to a pump. Might as well fill up. I asked her if she wanted anything from inside. It was really doing my good deed for the week. said no thanks to me. So I went inside to pay the attendant a gas and some spiked seltzers. Tomorrow was the weekend. When I got back to my car, it was gone. I looked around the gas station real quick, but it was tiny.
I mean, she was in civilization now, right?
She must have been home somewhere.
To
I felt
guess.
slightly bad, feeling like she was some lost, helpless woman. But part of me also felt slightly relieved.
Crazy.
I filled up the tank of my SUV. I was on my way home. When I got back to the house, I went straight inside my apartment, which is the first level of a two-family house. There's a tenant upstairs and me. The front door into the foyer was usually left unlocked. Now the two
Okay.
doors leading to each apartment were locked. I let myself in out of the rain and into my apartment. I set the seltzers down on the counter. I wasn't that tired yet, so I took a melatonin and tried to go to bed. Even with the melatonin, though, I was having a hard time sleeping that night. My mind was kind of going wild with thoughts. A lot of thinking about that woman I picked up earlier. What happened to her? At certain points, I heard slight sounds from outside of my bedroom, but I dismissed them as sounds from the upstairs tenant. Boy, do I wish I was more suspicious before falling asleep.
Oh boy.
I woke up in
What
my
happened?
bedroom, something that usually would never happen when I take a melatonin. I usually sleep like a baby through the night. I sat up feeling drowsy, feeling really thirsty too. I reached over the table next to my bed for my water.
Symbiote's cock could be dragging people off the street like that. Clear out. I got
I saw
this.
someone crouch in the corner of my bedroom, legs
Man, is this real or make believe, man?
I like how comfortable this is. I don't want to get about where it is, but have you ever noticed?
I had to be hallucinating. I shook my head violently and made weird noises. Slapped myself in the face. Still up. I didn't understand work. I sat in my bed in literal shock. The part that had me questioning my humanity was gone. It was that there wasn't a single sound inside the room. Footsteps, the sound of the door closing. I grabbed my phone and called my dad.
What? Where'd those symbiotes come from?
I told him what I just saw. He said Trish probably was having nightmares. I stayed on the phone.
Probably.
I left my room and turned on the lights to the living room outside. It was a small space. There was no one in there. I looked around the entire space and confirmed no one was there. I started to believe that maybe I did just hallucinate. Still, I slept with the bedroom door locked. I woke up, drank some water, got dressed for the gym. I opened the door to the foyer. I saw. I did another look around the apartment, confirming no one was inside. I went out to my car and opened the back door to put my gym bag in the back seat. That's when I noticed the damp, yellow, brownish stains all over the floor in the back, and my blanket that I always had back there was gone. I wanted to cry or scream. I figured it out. That woman snuck into the back seat last night when I was in the gas station. She either somehow unlocked the door to my apartment, or I mistakenly left it unlocked. I called my dad again, frantically asking him what to do. He said check and make sure nothing was stolen. If nothing was, then calling the police really wouldn't do
I can
anything.
swing you over to an
I
ambulance.
checked the
They'll
house
fix you
and
right
didn't
up.
find anything
Oh
to
my
be
God.
missing. Just my blanket from the car. I skipped the gym that day. In fact, I stayed bottled up in my apartment for a while after that. I was just genuinely disturbed. I didn't want to live there for much longer after that. And so after that month, I found another place to live.
Okay.
Just a little bit farther.
Right move. Safe move. Move to somewhere else in Oregon.
This happened a few months ago.
Or wherever
and
he's
I
from.
don't know why I agreed, but I decided to go with my friend Michael to a house party he was attending during our first year of high school. Though I wasn't even invited, Michael was able to pull some strings, and I accepted the invitation. Knowing that I wouldn't be able to drive, I made the choice to go with Michael.
Hope that wasn't too rough of a
When
trip.
we arrived at the home
Take
late
care.
at night, Michael told me to leave my phone in the car. He explained that maybe I could lose it, or someone I don't know could try
This
and
has
take
been
it
the
from me
longest
while
week
I'm not
ever.
looking. At first, I was confused. I simply nodded, and we got out of the car. I went with Michael into the home or backyard where the party was taking place. I glanced around the backyard and saw people engaging in various activities such as smoking, drinking, possibly even doing drugs in small groups. Michael had encouraged me to go mingle and say hello to a few people. After a few hours, I realized I had way too much to drink because my vision was completely foggy. After getting closer to the house, I leaned against the wall to support myself. As I did so, I noticed the time on my watch indicated that it was either midnight or 1 in the morning. I knew it was time to leave, so I set out to find Michael. And despite my overwhelming need to collapse, I scanned the yard for him, but I was unable to locate him or see him. When I asked a few others if they'd seen Michael, they all said they had not. I decided to call Mike to find out where he was, so I reached inside my pocket to feel for my phone, but it wasn't there, and I cursed myself in the back of my mind because I realized that I had left my phone in Michael's car. It disappeared with him. I realized there was only one way to get home, which was walking, because I remembered my house wasn't too far from this house, but the night was chilly because it was fall. I thought about just asking someone else to take me home, and I didn't know anyone else that could help. So I stuck with my idea of walking home in the darkness by myself. I then got to the road and started stumbling down the street. I knew I had too many drinks because I felt lightheaded and dizzy. A few minutes later, I made it to the main area of the street and kept walking. I lazily started thinking about a bunch of different things, like why did Michael decide to leave me alone at the party? Or why I decided to listen to Michael's idiotic idea of leaving my phone in his car so I couldn't call him or anyone else. I started cursing myself for being so careless with my drinking and even getting drunk, knowing I shouldn't have done that. I stopped walking on the side of the road because I was getting tired, and I crossed my arms over my chest tightly to keep myself warm. And I remembered something I could do, which was hitchhiking. I then held out my arm and stuck out my thumb, hoping someone else could see me. I watched as a couple cars drove past me. They wouldn't stop, and as minutes ticked by, I started feeling uneasy, thinking I would have to start walking again. It was past 1 in the morning, and there were a few cars driving past me, but no one was stopping because they either didn't notice me or didn't care. I hesitated. I thought about walking home again, but I realized that, in my drunken state, it would be too daunting. I was still holding out my thumb when a gray truck pulled up and stopped in front of me, and I smiled as I stumbled towards the vehicle. The window rolled down. An older-looking man with a beard asked me if I needed a ride. I told him yes, and then told him where my house was before getting into the truck, feeling grateful for the ride. As we started driving down the road, the man started trying to make small talk with me, asking what happened to me. However, I was too disoriented to have an actual conversation with him, and the only things I could manage to say were low mumbles or just murmurs.
Should have known it'd be Crocus.
As we turned the corner to my street away from the party, I started feeling uneasy. For some reason, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was strange about this man.
It's not for me. It's not for any of us. We want to go home.
New York is filled with the unworthy.
Religious fanatics, cultists.
Sorry, nobody's getting branded today.
They want to
Suddenly, he
brand
drove past my
us.
house, and I told him that he had just driven past
Flames
it,
eternal.
and I felt my gut telling me to get out. But I couldn't, because I was too drunk to move. I was to tell the man to let me out before we got too far away from my house. When suddenly the man turned to me, and I noticed he had a sinister look on his face. You know, you shouldn't be drunk while you're hitchhiking, because you'd make a very easy target,
Where do
the
these
man
people
said,
come from?
smirking darkly. The man reached over and started rubbing my leg. I didn't know what he was trying to do, but I knew it probably wasn't anything good. But before he could do anything else to me, we both heard a loud siren behind the car, and then a flashing red and blue light flooded the night. I realized it was the police, and I jumped for joy inside. The man panicked and stopped, unlocking the doors, which allowed me to jump out of the car. I ran as fast as I could, and the police officer rushed over to me, and I told him the entire story about what happened to me. Unfortunately, nothing illegal happened per se at that point. The police officer told me that he was looking for someone in a gray truck who had apparently stolen something from the store. I'm not sure if it was the man who picked me up or someone else, but I was just glad the police officer stopped the car.
A cop gave me a ride home, and I decided from there on I wouldn't get so drunk that I couldn't think straight.
I now know the importance of being responsible and staying aware of my surroundings,
Me
even when having
too.
a good time. I was still in college when this happened. I went to a big party school in upstate New York. I wasn't in a sorority, but I attended a lot of the frat parties still. I had a heavy
Bunch of
drinking
pets.
phase in college, unfortunately.
Better go take a look.
And I guess it's good that I got it out of my system. There was an upcoming frat party that my friends Deanna and Kayla wanted to go to. I was not one to ever say no to a party unless I was already deathly hungover. And even then, I'd sometimes be known to still go out. I was living in a house off campus with 3 other girls. We were not a sorority house or teen house or anything like that. Just 4 friends renting a house together. I believe it was a Kappa Sigma party that we were going to. The house was about 20 minutes away from campus. Pre-game was pretty heavily at our house.
I remember
Called the
doggy
Uber.
treats next
We all
time.
split.
Incoming symbiote.
Uber ride there, they gave someone.
Big symbiote
It was
brought
a
some
recipe
friends.
for disaster.
Okay.
By the time we showed up to the party, I was borderline blacked out. I just barely remember the layout of that house. I'd never been to a Kappa party besides that night. It's weird, I have short spans of memory from that night. I vaguely remember the outside, because there were a bunch of frat guys standing out front of the house. And I remember the DJ in the living room, and 2 beer pong tables in the kitchen. I was later told that I played beer pong with some random frat guy and ended up talking to him in the corner for a big chunk of the night. And after that, who knows where I went. I couldn't even tell you the last thing I remember before waking up sleeping on the grass on the side of the road in a daze.
You don't need this, do
My
you?
head was throbbing. I had to still be somewhat intoxicated. It was pitch black outside. I was laying by a bunch of trees, like a wooded area. Apart from the university, there wasn't much up there besides woods and the occasional little town. There were a couple light posts further down the road, so I wasn't just laying in complete darkness. I patted down my pockets looking for my phone, and I had a meltdown when I realized my pockets were empty. I was also missing my crossbody tag. I had absolutely nothing on me. I started to freak out. I couldn't even call for help, let alone check the time or where I was. I looked around the immediate area by where I was sleeping. Nothing. My white shirt was stained with dirt. That was the least of my worries. I started walking down the road closer to the light posts. I started to realize there were no buildings in sight. Completely random background. I leaned on the light pole for a few minutes, wondering what to do. I decided I'd wait for someone to pass by and ask for help. It was a long time though, at least 15 minutes, before I noticed headlights down the road. I stepped out onto the road, waving my arms and jumping, trying to ensure I got their attention. The car slowed to a stop on the side of the road.
There.
I approached the car, and the guy inside rolled down the window. Once he asked me if I was all right. I told him I was stranded without a phone and needed a ride home. He told me to get in, and I did, making sure to let him know how much I appreciated it. He, of course, asked me about my predicament, how I found myself stranded on the side of the road. I told him I was at a party, and the next thing I remembered was waking up on the side of the road. In hindsight, I should not have said any of that. I should have been as vague as possible, not let this guy know that I got completely trashed and was vulnerable. He asked why I didn't call for help, and I told him I lost my cell phone too. The guy looked at me like I was a moron. I looked back at him for a second, and this was the first time I really analyzed his features. He was like 35. Wasn't the best looking guy. He had a thin goatee and a big nose. I gave him my address to put into his house. As he drove, he put the address in, and then I heard him say under his breath, "Okay, here we go." I asked how far away we were, and he said about 20 minutes. That sounded about right, since the frat house was about 20 minutes from our house. I thought things would go smoothly. I'd get dropped off at the house where Kayla and Deanna would be waiting for me with my belongings. But nothing can ever go that smoothly. The man spoke in a gentle voice basically the entire time. He was asking basic questions at first.
Stay
His
tuned.
soft voice was